And welcome aboard. That's right. Welcome aboard. Glad everybody is joining us here today on Tomato Talk. Top of mind, advancing through obstacles. Or maybe you should be advancing through opportunities. Question is, how do we take advantage of those opportunities? Luck? Nah, I don't believe in luck. I don't think that's got anything to do with it in the world. Maybe a little bit every once in a while, but for the most part, no. We create our own luck. We create our own opportunities. We create our own situations. There is so much more where we are in control of, and I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for that. Be it having a good day or a bad day. Because where does it start? Where does all of this stuff start? Where does it go to in the middle of the day, and how can you make the whole thing better? One of the things I enjoy doing is the idea of referrals. You give somebody a nice referral, they're happy, it's good, whether you get compensated or not, that kind of thing. That depends upon your own situation. There's a lot of groups that are set up, where they do get compensated for referrals. A lot of times you get these networking groups are set up where referrals are just a key part of the whole thing. One of the goals, right, to these groups is to help you grow your business. So you need to be able to give and receive referrals. Is it easy to do? No, it's actually not that easy to do. Because here's the situation, real life. Here's the problems that have crept up from time to time. Hey, if I give somebody a referral and they don't call, who looks bad? Them? Yeah, of course, but there's no relationship there. But it's me, right? And I don't mean that if it doesn't work out, that's fine. It really is. That just goes with the territory. Hey, you should speak to this person. I think it makes sense. Da, 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 da. The two of them chat, realize, nope, it was a little bit off on the whole thing. It really can't work with each other. Not a good fit. Not going to be able to hire them or anything like that. Doug, good afternoon to you. Okay, but as long as you're in the ballpark with it. So now you have the other side of it too, is like, what do you do? Should you be totally involved in every referral, and involved in that conversation? Everything should be a three-way conversation? Nah, I don't think so. I truly don't think so. Are you a mediator? Not happening. But I do think you should follow up with the person, either side of it really, but follow up, not just to find out if they've done business, but follow up to see if you were correct, if you were on the mark. And if they didn't do business again, that could be fine. The question is why? Why? Maybe you gave a referral to someone they suggested the two people speak to each other, and they do exactly the same thing in exactly the same way, and they compete against each other. That's not good. That doesn't work. So what happened? Did you make a mistake? Could be. Could be. Did either one of those other two parties make a mistake? Again, could be. Could be. I'll repeat myself there. Could be. Could be. The question really is do you really understand who they are and what it is that they do? Do they really understand who they are and what it is that they do? And do they really speak it out to you properly, so you're able to explain exactly what it is that they do, what their value is, and absolutely what their brand is? So I've chosen one of the videos. One of the things I want to do today is use a couple of videos in here, besides that me with the Speakers Bureau, and besides showing the picture of the Oceanside High School, who is going to be doing the car show this weekend. It's not video. We'll see if we can make a video out of that thing. But I want to introduce you to brand telling. That's going to be Arthur Germain. Arthur and I work together. Arthur works with a number of different companies. Same kind of thing. It's not so much as the elevator pitch. That's a little bit more my world. But he talks to them and he guides them, helps them on developing their brand. Sometimes it's telling a story for the first time, new company, you get yourself together, you're now out there, you're doing things. Other times it's retelling the story. And actually, there's a referral I want to give him on that note, but it's retelling the story. See, what happened is I met this company, and the person at the table started explaining what the company does. And then she's like, "Oh, I want you to introduce you to the owner of the company." Then all of a sudden, the company is doing much more than what the person behind the table was telling me. Not that that person was wrong, but it wasn't the whole story. Or maybe it just wasn't the story that was evolving. I don't really know. But it didn't match any of the material I had on the table either because there was so much more going on. That is not a new story to tell. That's not a new business. That's definitely a retelling of the business. And we all grow, we all change. We know, we like to think we know, or we know who we are. Hey, Mike, good afternoon. Doug, Karen, of course. But we know who we are. The question is that message being delivered out properly? And can you explain who we are? So can you explain who it is and what that person is that you're trying to refer? And if you are not getting the story correctly, maybe it's you, maybe you're just not listening, maybe you're hearing what you want to hear, or maybe they're just not telling their story properly. So I'm going to play the video over here about branding. And Arthur, I want to thank you in advance here for doing this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Arthur Jermaine.
Hi, I'm Arthur Germain. Welcome to the Brand Telling Podcast. I get asked a question a lot, and that question is a real simple one. What is a brand? And everybody has a different point of view. Designers often say it's your corporate identity, including your logo, your colors, your typefaces, your image choice. If you're in promotion people will say it's the way you display and share your brand via clothing, printed materials, and handouts. Every local business organization will tell you it's how you promote yourself via their sponsorship opportunities. And digital marketers will say it has something to do with your online reputation. Now, they're not all wrong, but they're not entirely correct either. For me, whether it's your personal brand or your company brand, it's about the promise that you're making to your intended audience. It's the way that you convey your mission, your vision, and your values, and how that impacts your intended audience. This is different from how the brand looks or what type of printed products you hand out at a trade show. In a way, this view of the brand impacts everything you do. Does that make sense? Let's look at a few examples. Apple promises tech you can use that fits into your lifestyle. For a creator, that might mean a comfortable tool that they can use that doesn't change the way that they create at all. McDonald's, don't laugh, but McDonald's promises a quick filling and consistent hot meal you can rely on when you're on the go. No matter where you go, you know what you're going to get from McDonald's. For a busy mom or dad, that might mean something they can pick up for the family on the way home. Nike promises performance in their activewear. For an athlete, that might mean an extra few seconds shaved off their time on the track, or it could mean a little bit more distance on a throw. And Amazon, well, they promise everything you need as soon as you need it. And for an apartment owner, a new apartment owner, that might mean getting all their bathroom and bedroom supplies as soon as they moved in and not before. So that's a lot of packages that can be delivered after they're inside and not from their old home and have to be carted with them. You see where I'm going? The brand statement here is all about how the brand promise is relevant and resonates with the intended audience. Think for a moment about your brand and what it means to your intended audience. What does it mean from their point of view? Not yours, but theirs. How will it deliver a positive impact? Can it deliver a surprise? What do I mean? Remember that first time that you stayed at a really nice luxury hotel with a turn down service, and you came into the room and your bed was turned down and there was a little chocolate on the pillow? Do you remember that surprise? That kind of stays with you, that feeling. It stays with you forever. Quick story. The first time that my wife and I took our girls to Disney World, when we purchased something at a gift shop in the park, one of the staff offered to have it delivered directly to our room. I was floored. This is the first time I'd heard that. I said, sure, absolutely. That's a great idea. Now, of course, if you're cynical, you might say, well, sure, this is a great way for them to get more sales in the park, that they can sell more items because they're carting it back to your room, and you're not going to say anything to get back and you go, what the hell did we buy in the park all day? But, look at it again from the perspective of the busy, overwhelmed parents who are already toting multiple kids, backpacks, bags, strollers, sun blocker, water, and whatever else they need. If Winnie the Pooh can be waiting at the room, it's one less thing to carry, right? I'm all for it, and you're all for it too. That becomes part of the Disney World brand promise, a magic time in the park. I'm Arthur Germain, and this is the Brand Telling Podcast. Please check back and join me next time. If you'd like to discuss ways to improve your professional services brand story, book a brief introductory call to see if I can help. My URL is meeting.brandtelling.com. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Arthur. always good. There we go. Let's remove that. We'll come back over here. It's you can tell a few things about the differences between he and I, or also very. He's detailed. He's definitely detailed, and I think that really is quite important. Also, so he's got different structures that he works with, without a doubt. Set of questions. He does the research, all the rest of that stuff that goes along with it. But it's really a good point too. We brought up the Disney thing, right? What's the intention that you have when you do something to make it easier for your client? I mean, depends on your point of view as to whether or not that was, if you're cynical or not, as to whether or not they were allowing you to buy more things because you didn't have to carry it. Hey, go on a cruise ship, what do you get to spend? Charge it to the room, or you're spending doubloons. What's a doubloon? I don't know. It's just so easy to spend money at those things that you don't realize until afterwards. You're like, whoa, what did I do? What did I do? Man, it's the same as going to a bar, having a few too many cocktails. Say, yeah, another one, buy around. Next thing you know, you're talking hundreds of dollars later. Is that what you intended to do? Did they make it easy for you to do that by running a bar tab or not? It depends on the place. So intention is a big deal if you can get that out. But you also have this notion though too, is can somebody explain that out and explain out what you want to have explained out? Can even still stay with the Disney thing. Hey, Disney makes your experience of shopping as easy as possible. We deliver it to your room. Now, if you are telling this story to someone who had a bad experience at Disney or some retailer, or had an issue someplace, or is cynical, maybe you do, maybe you don't want to refer that person, because you want to make sure at all possible that they're telling your story the way they want you to tell your story. Hey, look, I've been known to give, to go off the cuff, right? I mean, all these things that I've been doing over here off the cuff, not noted, stuff like that, Is that good or bad? Well, for me, that's just the way I do this program over here. I've got reasons for doing it. I just like to talk off the top of my mind. That's where the DOM comes from, top of mind. But if you're very conservative, like I've had guests on in the past, right, that are very conservative. If I tell them, oh, it's just a free flowing show, you let me know what message you want to deliver. We'll get there. You got to trust me. I can tell you. So what's my brand to them? It's like, oh my God, this guy's like, is a hothead. You don't know what he's going to talk about. You don't know the direction of the show. I don't know. It's a little uncomfortable to go and do. That could be one person's point of view. That's my brand now with that person. Regardless of whatever I think my brand is, that's what they are telling others my brand is. Will they go out and refer me to have somebody come on the program? Yeah, I don't know. If they're hanging out with like-minded people, which most of us do, then I don't think that would be a good referral partner. On the other side of it, if I say that same thing exactly the same way to somebody that is very clear as to what message they want to deliver. They're fine with a free flowing conversation. They're very confident in what they're doing, which is the way I interpret that. But they're very confident in what they're doing, and they understand that a conversation is better than a structured interview in this kind of a format, of course, because we have the luxury of time. Now that person becomes a very good referral source for me because they get it. They see things the way I see things. Now I ask you, if you are looking for referral partners, you're in one of those networking groups, is that the right group for you to be in? Could be, but it's really about the people. You got to be comfortable with whatever the structure of that group is, of course, and everything else that goes along with it. But is it the right group of people that are consistent with your way of thinking? Not your business, but just consistent with your way of thinking. Now they become very good referral partners because they are telling your story, your brand, delivering your message in a manner that is what you are looking for. Who they tell it to, you don't know. But if you are clear with them and they are clear with you as to what it is, then it makes sense. Going back to what I said before, should you check on that? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, look, if I have somebody that I think is a good referral partner and they're referring me out and I never get a phone call, they say, oh, yeah, Brian, we referred you to 3 different people and I never got a phone call. Something's wrong. So either I didn't deliver my message properly to them, my referral partner didn't understand it, or if my referral partner is not sharing it properly, or they just are with the wrong people. They just give it to the wrong people. If they're just giving it to the wrong people, but the other 2 factors are correct, there's nothing you can really do about that. You just thank them. You never know. Maybe one day they'll kind of get it right, you know. But it becomes very important for your brand to be clear, is for them to hear about your brand. But here's the other part of it. And this comes down to what I see as that elevator pitch. All right. And I'm going to be talking about this elevator pitch at the Miller Business Center next Tuesday. Who is that elevator pitch for? All right. It's for the person that you're talking to. Okay. All right. That's an obvious one. But it's also for the person you're talking to be able to re-explain it to somebody else. How do they do that? What is it that they pick up on that they could share with someone else? And you can't go into a 5-minute explanation with somebody. Oh, I do this, that, and the other thing, and da 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 da. 5 minutes, man. You're telling me if I meet you for the very first time and you're taking 5 minutes to explain what it is that you do, that's too much. That's just too much. You want to take 5 minutes to explain why it is that you do what you do, that might not be too much, but that's a conversation. It's not that initial 30 seconds or less to get somebody's attention. It's not that initial little salvo of information where the person's going to say, really? Tell me more. Now it's a conversation. That's what you're shooting for. It always helps is to get an understanding of what that other person is, what they do, and figuring out as best as you possibly can the key points or something that they might have an interest in what it is that you are doing. And maybe this is where you got to change it up a little bit. Look, if I meet somebody else that does these videos, podcasts, stuff like that, it's pretty straightforward. If I meet somebody that wants to further retelling their brand, it's a little bit different, right? Then I'm changing it around a little bit, but I'm still, in some respects, I'm still a storyteller. No matter how you cut it, I'm telling stories, telling other people's stories. And then when I have guests, allowing them to tell their own stories also. So that's what it is. I also mentioned too that, I really love working with and speaking at the high schools about letting them know what exciting career opportunities are out there and telling those stories. Can be done. Will it generate a conversation? It might. Many times it does. It's depends on who I'm talking to. And you want to know something? I've also kind of come to the point is like if it doesn't generate a conversation, maybe it's just not a good referral partner. Maybe it's not. Let them talk, hear what it is that they have to say, and then categorize them from there. Maybe it is somebody whose service you could use. Maybe you can refer them when the opportunity arises. And that's always a good thing, too. And that's part of this whole referral thing. But here's the key factor in the whole thing, right? When you do speak, and Jerry, thanks for joining us today. When you do speak, when you do give that elevator pitch, is it memorable? Not word for word memorable, but is it a memorable thing that you're saying, right? If I tell people I tell stories, what do you envision? I don't know. Uncle Brian sitting at the table yakking away. That's not really the goal. That's not it. I can't do that, but that's not it. That's not what it is. But if I tell people, I speak at high schools, telling you exciting business stories or talking about exciting careers that are available to them, now all of a sudden, what did you just see? You might have seen me at a left turn. Maybe, maybe not. That's okay. You might have seen yourself back in high school thinking, hey, you know something? I really wish somebody told me about some exciting careers when I was in high school. Or you might see your own kids that are sitting in a high school auditorium listening to something like this. But whatever it is, my guess is you're probably focused on a big audience in an auditorium. Probably. Unless, of course, you really got some exciting company that you want to tell, exciting story about your company that you want to tell. But no matter where it is in there, you visualize something, right? That's important. Jerry, yeah, I mean, you got an easy one. Actually, the whole, a bunch of you do it over there. You know, Doug with the nonprofit, Wheels in Motion. Hey, something that tells it, right? And you get the logo in there. Really important. Doug and I have discussed, many times about, being in a wheelchair, what it really means from a business owner's perspective to make it easy, right? I talk about, when I do talk about this stuff, it's that the lip between the roadway and the walkway. It's all cut out. That's all nice and good. But is it a 1-inch lip or is it a 2-inch lip? There's a big difference. Think about that next time you're out. And you will. You will. Because you just saw that lip between the street and the walkway, the little cutout. Next time you're walking someplace, you're going to think about that, right? Or Doug, next time you're rolling someplace, you'll be thinking about that. But it's, that's important. Jerry, look, a big thing there, visiting people at home, right? Home computer services. I help you, I make sure that your computer is set up in your home this way. It's a nice experience when you walk into your home office, as opposed to saying, man, how come I can't get this crazy thing to work? But there's a visual idea in most of everything, that we do. So if that's the picture, if all I do when meeting Doug for the first time is walk away with the picture of wheelchair, lip, road to that leading to a business, you know something? I mostly am able to tell some version of his story, to make that thing work. And same with, Jerry did, same kind of thing, right? A lot of us are working from home. A lot of you have always been working from home, home-based businesses and things like that. Now so many, on the phone too. It's like, it gets to be confusing. Is it confusing to you working with so many different aspects and so many different websites on your home computer? Oh, you should call Jerry. It's just that simple. Keep it short and sweet. Jerry, you got to live up to the moment here, and I know you do. It's all good. So it's not about just being able to tell your story is the real main focus here. It's about how other people understand your story and can they visualize it. And if they can visualize it, then they will have it on the top of their mind when they're out and about meeting other people doing anything. Because if all of us are out there networking, and we're listening to what other people are saying, I guarantee you, right, is that you can make referrals. It's not that hard to do. And when you do that and you get it right, you now have two people that are very appreciative of what it is that you are doing. And depending upon what it is, whether you should be there, not be there, the rest of that stuff, that depends on your business. So that's definitely an individual thing that you want to consider. But giving referrals, you really want to grow your business. It's not so much as handing out your own business card, it's handing out somebody else's business card, digitally or in person. It doesn't make a difference. That really becomes an important factor in the whole thing. So I had the opportunity the last couple of days to meet with a number of different companies, different people who get different referrals on the whole thing. Some of it business, some of it not. Some of it's a matter of getting that message out over there because I do work and speak at many of these high schools. And I do really want them to see the exciting careers out there. And I ran across a program over at Stony Brook University that's got a summer camp in robotics. And I was like, that sounds kind of fascinating. And they are working with the high school students. So I'm going to make sure that Ron Loveland, who's the co-chair of the manufacturing committee, understands and knows about this. And there's a few other connections in there with Stony Brook University, the HIA, and the rest of that stuff. So what do you think happens if I do that? Ron now knows I'm thinking about it, whether it goes any place or not. He knows I'm thinking about him. And this one's a little bit of a stretch. It's not business again; it's message. But Ron's very creative, and I know that he's looking at different ways in order to promote the jobs and exciting careers that are within the manufacturers. This kind of fits in over there. And there was another company too, which I'm not going to tell you about. There was another company too, that was there. So I found some companies with some fascinating stories. The question is, how do I tell them? The question is too, how do we tell your story? Because I'm a storyteller. All right, what do we got coming up? Hey, let's go see what the storyteller is for the Long Island Speakers Bureau. And this message is going to change a little bit, but I'm going to play it anyhow. All right, here we go. You ready to use your voice to build your brand? The Long Island Speakers Bureau is designed to do just that. We work with both content experts along with professional speakers. Visit longislandspeakersbureau.com and you'll see the many people that we do work with. To schedule a conference call with me, just dial 631-255-3581 and ask for Brian. You know what? I'm not too sure I'm going to change that one around. So different focus, but it's a different internal focus. Outwardly, pretty much the same. So that aspect is there. I definitely want to make that more automated as that goes along. There's a lot of folks are looking to speak and they speak for free and they speak at different places and organizations contacts. So we're just going to keep that all in one easy to reach spot. And you want to know something? Maybe that's the referral side of things, so that works out, in that respect. The brand telling side, that becomes a little bit different as that goes, because that is no longer somebody out there just delivering a message. It's a clear-cut business strategy kind of thing. Those that are in the nonprofit world looking to talk, that all that stuff is fine. All right, here's the thing I want to end with over there, and let's throw this up on the screen, is the Oceanside High School car show. This is why this one's so important to me. Is it really important to be at a car show? No, not necessarily. Is it really important for everybody here to know about the Oceanside High School? No, not necessarily. But here's the story behind the whole thing. The Oceanside High School came to the HIA trade show last year. They brought the car, the picture of the car you see over there, to the show. It was on a trailer. The message we were delivering there, we brought a full-blown race car up there to that thing and a couple of other modified cars. But the message we were trying to deliver there is that the high school vocational programs, automotive programs, once those students go through those programs, what they're going to find out is obviously a lot more about automotives, but they're also going to learn about blueprints, how to read a blueprint. They're also going to learn about how to weld. They're also going to learn about visual graphics. They're also going to learn about project management. They're going to learn about a multitude of different things. Those things that they're learning, those are job skills. Those are transferable job skills, not just to the automotive, but to just about anything inside of manufacturing. It also has to do a lot with construction. You're a welder, you get construction, right? It also has a lot to do and blueprints and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And then also aerospace. How exciting is that? And it is. The aerospace industry, the manufacturing industry, construction industry are huge here on the island. Huge. There are over 3,000 manufacturers on the island. They're looking for employees. They're looking for motivated individuals. Think about this. And think about this from your own point of view. What if more and more of our students here that are looking for a job became motivated to find a career, and a career that they started working on in high school? And they gained those years of experience. And then when they went on to school, higher education school, they didn't just go to college. They went to college for a reason. They went to a tech school for a reason. They went to work directly at these companies for a reason, because these companies got their own training programs. A lot of companies that I've met at job fairs, they want you right away before you learn anybody else's ways of doing something. Then you have to be retaught, not taught. A lot of them really want you fresh and excited. Fascinating. What about all the student loan debt, the rest of that stuff? You know what? A lot of these students that continue on this path are either going to go to school and pay for school because they need to, and because they want to, and because they're going to earn the money back afterwards where it makes financial sense to do. That's paying for college. Or maybe they're going to go directly to a company, and the company's got an internal program. Maybe they're going to go to a company where the company has actually hired a Suffolk Community College or a BOCES or a Wilson Tech or one of these other places to do the programs for them. That means you, the employee, not paying for that stuff. The company is. The company is. That's amazing. That also means that there'll be more income here on Long Island, more tax revenue coming in on Long Island, more ways to pay for different things on Long Island. That strengthens the island quite a bit. Is that a bad thing? No. Can you help deliver that message, the whole message? Hey, maybe not. I know I can't, but through the proper referrals, we can make it work. So why am I so excited about this car show over there? Because these students are a screaming example of how positive these high school vocational trades programs students are and are to our future. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. My friends, do what you can. Motivate others, motivate yourself, motivate your family, whatever. Make it work. And when you do that, you're going to need to do three things. You're going to need to speak well, you're going to need to speak often, and you need to live inspired. Have an absolutely fantastic day.